whole casting thing. It's going to take some time. It looks like we might be heading in already to our next game. RecoN versus Szalami, Abbasid versus Ottomans. This is getting good.
Indeed it is. Szalami and RecoN both moving on from round number 1. And here we go. RecoN is going to be with the Abbasids, the brand new Abbasids in blue. And on the other side, Szalami in command of the Ottomans.
This is exciting stuff. I'm incredibly excited to see this. We've seen the Ottomans coming out before. So, look, there's nothing too surprising going to be coming out there, I suspect. What I want to see is the Abbasid. What direction does RecoN go? Because irrespective of the direction he goes, I'm excited. Whether he goes trade wing, or military wing, or economic wing, or culture wing, it's going to be good. I've seen Snooper opening culture wing, and it looks really strong. I've seen Castle Age trade wings. It's been crazy good. Abbasid at the moment, they're just a whole bag of tricks.
Exactly, Abbasid is just completely reworked when it comes to the entire House of Wisdom structure. It has been such a dominant thing to play Abbasids with the economy wing. It was always economy wing in Feudal Age. Now it's a complete different story. Culture wing, decreasing the cost of future age-ups, or, as you said, military wing, trade wing could be an intriguing option as well. The fact that the tech responsible for decreasing villager cost has been moved to the TC, replaced with a new technology that actually decreases stone cost on building, for example, extra town centers as well, has been added to the House of Wisdom. It's a complete rework of the House of Wisdom, and it kind of resets the Abbasid dynasty meta, makes it a very intriguing choice, but it's also a risky choice to a certain extent, because what you're about to do, you think it's fine, but you didn't really have the chance to test it in a large amount of games.
Yeah, the sample size for a lot of this stuff is pretty small. So, look, I suspect RecoN's probably going to have something up his sleeve that he's practiced a fair bit. But interesting to note is we have an Abbasid dynasty wheelbarrow coming through, a very early wheelbarrow coming through. Ooh. This is not something that we've previously seen. This is very rare. And the reason why people normally delay the wheelbarrow as the Abbasid dynasty is because if you go for one early, you're delaying your age up. And there's no way to speed up your age up. You can't put an extra vill on the landmark. You're locked in at that rate. So it's interesting to see. But Twin Minaret Madrasa are going to be coming down here for Szalami in the back of the base. Nice little safe spot he's got here.
Indeed. Now, that wheelbarrow is definitely going to help running away from those spears. So that's one of the advantages that you will have here, having the wheelbarrow. And I think part of the equation over here for RecoN is that this wheelbarrow is mostly a response to the spearman aggression that he's expecting from Szalami, and there it is.
Yeah, good call. We do see it's actually going to be Culture Wing coming up for RecoN. So, to be honest, I'm not surprised to see this. Culture Wing's actually kind of crazy good. I didn't think I would say this, but it allows you to get up to Castle Age an extra, I would estimate like an extra 30 to 40 seconds faster, just because you've got the extra resources that you'd normally have to spend, but you don't have to spend it anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it's really nice to see coming out from RecoN.
Exactly. That's one of the biggest changes when it comes to the House of Wisdom. Culture Wing now having its tech cost reduction bonus apply to age ups as well. Now, it has been reduced from 30% to 20%, but still, 20% savings on the cost of a Castle Age up is still massive. And it's also the fact that if you're kind of stuck in Feudal Age or you have to extend your Feudal Age, you will still get massive value out of it because your tax, your eco tax will also be much cheaper.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. The 20% reduction is really nice, and we've seen a lot of players being quite flexible with it as well. Like, you can see people go straight into Castle Age, or you can play for a more heavy feudal focus, but just go for a blacksmith and get all your blacksmith ups, get all your tech ups. Kind of like you're playing the French, but you've got all of your upgrades discounted. So it is very, very nice as the Abbasid. But we do see the age up coming through a little bit late here. He's going to be post 5 minutes here, defending against this early aggression. And where does Szalami go from here, do you think? Does he head into... Yeah, we see wheelbarrow and double broadaxe picked up here. So it's going to be just your kind of standard... it looks like a feudal age play coming through from Szalami.
Are you sure? I think it's actually going to be a fast castle from Szalami. Very heavy eco investments. He's still on gold. And if you look at, once again, the eco distribution, you could think about this being an aggressive fast castle age. Szalami loves that build. He loves using the twin minaret medrese for fast castle. It's a great source of extra food, especially when you're up against the Abbasids, a civilization that you don't normally associate with a lot of feudal age aggression. I think this could be a window for Szalami to try a fast castle, especially having such a powerful economy. Although he's starting to mine stone and he's heavy on wood. Could it be a second TC?
The part that doesn't make sense to me is the double broadaxe. Like, if he was just going for a wheelbarrow, I would agree 100% with you. But the fact that he got double broadaxe, that to me is like a real good signal that he wants to make archers. And we do see an archery range now beginning to come down. How many we see? It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a pretty important question because RecoN, I suspect, might be heading to Castle Age here. He's having a tough time defending, but going for an early culture wing like this, you don't really want to be staying in feudal for too long, just because your enemy is going to be scaling effectively, and you're going to need something to catch up to them. But we do see a second TC on the way for RecoN.
Okay, now Szalami has no eyes set on that stone mine just yet, but one thing he sees is the gold mine. He's got some presence over there, and if RecoN wanted to go for Castle Age, he would likely have more than 2 villagers on that gold mine, and Szalami is going to get a visual confirmation on that stone mine in a second, so he will be fully aware of that second TC coming in. Now, he himself has a couple of villagers on stone, but it's not a very heavy commitment so far, so it's a little tricky to think figure out what Szalami wants to do. He's got a Matter on the field, he's mining some stone. Kind of feels like he wants to play aggressive over here, maybe a forward tower or something along those lines, but for that his army is a little too feeble.
Yeah, but we start to see upgrades coming through. So RecoN just got the fresh foodstuffs upgrade, so he's going to be reducing the cost of his villagers down from 50 food for every villager to 32. So nice little saving there. At the same time, he's also picked up that Golden Age Tier 1, so gets all of his upgrades, or rather all of his gather rates increased by 10%, which is pretty nice. Comes in a bit late. 7 minutes is pretty late for that. Typically, you do see it around that 4-minute, 5-minute mark. Nice and early on in the game. But early aggression seems to be the signs that everything's pointing to. Szalami's stacking up a fair bit of gold over there, though.
Yeah, Szalami's eco balance is a little, I'm not gonna say wacky over here, but definitely intriguing because you don't necessarily see that clear game plan. For RecoN, his direction is relatively obvious. He's going for a second TC over here, just investing enough to hold off this early aggression from Szalami. But from Szalami, I'm somewhat puzzled on what he wants to do. He's now going for survival techniques, which is a tech he loves to use. And that's going to skyrocket his food income. But yeah, we could still be heading in the direction of a semi-fast castle approach from Szalami, just not rushing Castle Age directly, trying to apply enough pressure to slow down RecoN's Castle Age timing.
Yeah, that could make a lot of sense. All it would take would be, you know, transferring 12 vills to a hunt, and that's it. You know, your Castle Age within the next 2 minutes. So that's always something that we could look out for. But yeah, at this point in the game, it definitely seems like everything's pointing towards feudal aggression. We could see Rams coming out shortly. Nice little micro coming in, but the archer defense going to be looking solid here for RecoN.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, as I said, it kind of feels like Szalami is just using this force as a decoy. The Matter by itself might just be a big decoy, because if you're in RecoN's position, you see a Matter, what do you think? You think Szalami is going to play aggressive. In reality, Szalami isn't investing very heavily to this feudal age aggression. Now, he's got to be cautious not to lose that Matter, but once again, he's forcing RecoN to invest into a lot of archers here in feudal age.
Yeah, that's a good call. And Szalami's definitely the type of player who would go for a fake out like that. So who knows exactly what we see, but at the moment, the Spy doing a decent job of just cleaning up, slowly tapping away at these archers, falling back towards the town centers here. No villagers have gone down yet throughout this game, and RecoN does begin building a villager lead. He's up 2 vills at the moment. That's going to continue scaling throughout this game.
That's very true, although from the other perspective, it's the 10-minute mark. He's only up by 2 villagers, and don't forget that Szalami's actually got a lot of good eco upgrades. Survival techniques right now boosting his food income. He's got the twin minaret medrese for a great food income. He's got wheelbarrow and double broadaxe, just like his counterpart. So that economy for Szalami is still very much comparable for RecoN's, and that's a good position for an Ottoman player to be in against Abbasids.
I guess another thing to notice is he's also got the military schools just pumping out free units. But it looks like he might be caught out of position here. RecoN maybe bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. More Spy, you're going to be running in here. Meta going to be helping out. I suspect he's probably going to be on the ranged armor the ranged armor meta drums. It's going to help him out. But yeah, unfortunately, RecoN losing a lot of units here, and this is going to put him in at a great disadvantage. And this, he's gone for the ranged defense. So yeah, exactly what you'd expect. Yeah, now RecoN at this point, he's up 5 vils, but obviously Szalami's got a bit of a tempo advantage. He's probably going to have that 3rd military school coming down any second if he hasn't already got it down. Let's have a look and see. 2 military schools in the base at the moment. There's the 3rd military school, right on time.
Yeah. Szalami now has dropped by 100 stone. I actually wonder if it's going to be for something like, as I said, forward outposts or something, or siege engineering actually coming in. He wants to double down on this, realizing that RecoN isn't really committing much to this, and one thing that RecoN doesn't have right now is map control. So even with these walls coming up, his access to resources, especially wood, could be denied by Szalami. I think that's the reason why Szalami is committing so much to this.
Yeah, I'm wondering a little bit what RecoN's doing, because it definitely feels like RecoN doesn't have a goal at the moment. Like, obviously, he's got the 2 TC, he's got the culture wing going, but like he had the opportunity to go into economic wing, obviously gave that up, and we haven't really seen. I mean, he's picked up some decent upgrades so far, but it hasn't been overwhelming. I feel like the value that he's got from culture wing hasn't been the best just yet through preservation of knowledge.
Exactly. Like, when you look at the culture wing, the biggest thing you're getting from it is still the discount on Castle Age. Now, he saw the aggression from Szalami, and that delayed his plans. Maybe he had to change his overall game plan altogether. Invest very heavily into archers, and Szalami realized that his opponent is relatively slow going into Castle Age, so there is an opportunity here to make a push, and this could be scary. Numbers looking pretty good for Szalami. Archer numbers are pretty close, but you got 12 Sipahi to work with, a Meter out there, 3 battering rams. This DC might be difficult to hold for RecoN. If Szalami fails with this push, it's a disaster. But if he can take this DC down, this is a terrible situation for RecoN to be in.
So RecoN needs to have textiles research right now. I'm not sure if he does. He does have... Okay, so he's got textiles. So ideally, he wants to keep 10 vils in that town center. He wants to keep about 10 vils repairing the town center. And he wants to have about 10 vils attacking the rams. Let's see if he's able to put all of those things together, because the numbers here coming out from Szalami are pretty solid. Got a good military here. You do see 10 vils entering the town center. They're going to be firing down on the units. No villagers repairing at the moment. It looks like he's going to be giving up the town center. No vils getting pulled off that wood line either. So he's just going to be fighting archers against archers. You can see the archers coming through from Szalami, looking to try and take down those spears. Spahi going to be looking to surround. Town center going to be going down. 10 vils about to be popped out. There they go. Town center is down. Meta going to be running in, looking to try and nay at the enemies very aggressively, but not having a whole lot of luck back there. But the Spahi just looking to continue cleaning up. Beautiful job by RecoN at picking off the enemy archers. He had a villager lead of about 10, but that's fallen down to about 4 now, down to 3. Slowly but steadily, Szalami is just taking away these villagers. And at the end of the day, RecoN does hold this push, but at the end, you got to wonder at what cost.
Yeah, this is such a puzzling fight over here, because as you said, RecoN manages to hold this. At the end of the day, the villager count is dead even, but RecoN had a lot of idle time, lost the second town center. On the other hand, Szalami lost most of his army. He actually lost a Meter in the end as well. And RecoN is still sitting on 26 archers, and for Szalami, it's not like his base is well fortified, so a counterattack here by RecoN could be rather challenging to hold off. And as much as we were asking what the plan is for RecoN, now you gotta ask this question for Szalami, because you look at his eco, he's severely lacking food, he's floating a lot of gold, still has 100 stone in the bank that he's not using, floating 1,000 wood. You don't necessarily see a clear game plan based on that resource bank.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Compare that to RecoN right now, who has a very clear game plan. He's heading to Castle Age. And once he gets there, he's going to be in a really solid position, because he's probably going to be moving in the military wing. He's going to have access to things like composite bows, which is going to be increasing the attack speed of his archers, and he's already got 28 archers up. Keep in mind, he's also going to be able to stack that up with boot camp. There's the military wing coming through now. Boot camp as well. Veterancy +2, and you're talking about 4 upgrades that hit your archers within the space of 60 seconds. You go from having very basic feudal archers to insanely strong. The strongest archers you can get in the Castle Age.
Exactly. That's going to be a big jump out there, and part of the reason why it was so valuable for RecoN to retain this army is because he's got something to defend himself with while he's going up. And as you said, the moment he gets up to Castle Age, he's got a force to deal with Szalami, potentially. Because Szalami is also thinking about going into Castle Age, and Szalami's archers are also pretty decent in numbers. And as you said, First of all, RecoN can't accelerate his castle age progress. It's gonna be a solid 1 minute still. And even if he does, the moment he's up to castle age, Szalami needs to trade archers with him before those upgrades come in.
And we can see Szalami preparing for that now. Beginning to move towards the enemy base, he puts his meta onto attack speed. He's got his eyes down here on a couple of villages. But he's going to be moving over towards it. These guys should be able to escape. They've got their wheelbarrow together with the textiles. Because of the upgrades coming through. Military wing, less than 30 seconds to go. Looks like he's going to be vacating that front position. Villager number 1. Oh, he's really committing hard here. And G's loses a lot of Spahi for his hard work, that's for sure. 2 go down. 1 about half health. Question's going to be whether Szalami can take him out in time, though. That's the big question.
I think this was all just a diversion. He's trying to blast his way through the left. And look at Szalami. He's rushing up the armory with 19 villagers. He knows fully well he's on a timer. As the upgrades start coming in for RecoN, Szalami can do 2 things here. He can either trade this off right now, or he needs to fall back and wait for the mangonels to arrive. Let's see what he does. Looks like he is staying around for the time being. Those upgrades take some time to come in. Now he's gonna commit. He's gonna threaten the lumberjacks, and this may force RecoN to fight.
Yeah, we can see the upgrades slowly coming through for RecoN. He's got boot camp on the way, veterancy on the way, +2 on the way. A lot of big upgrades here. He needs to keep these archers alive. Does not want to fight in the meta. Arms now coming through onto the front side. Meta going to be working towards that formation as well. Villagers going to be careful. 8 villagers the difference right now, but now all of a sudden he evens it up. 11 villagers taken out, 13 villagers taken out. Look how quickly they're going down. You wouldn't think those guys have got textiles. You wouldn't have think they've got more than 2 health the way that he went through those.
I love this move from Szalami. He's understanding that RecoN is not willing to fight. He probably won't be able to fall back, so best thing that you can do, just dive and commit. Force RecoN to fight, or at least idle his eco. He managed to pick off a bunch of villagers as well, and he's yet to find the big clump of villagers to the south. If he finds those villagers, this could be a disaster for RecoN.
It really, really could, but we can see now that he's doing a pretty decent job with the chasing. Archer's moving around. He's got a beautiful little concave that he's put together. Ideally, I'd love to see some quick walls coming through from RecoN. Would be a great way to stop all of these units from coming through. He could look to also focus down the meta. That's going to enable the, well, really slow down these units, but he's still just getting a beautiful run around, and Szalami doing a great job now, starting to take the villager lead. He's up by 4 villagers here, but it looks like all the archers in the back corner are going to get caught out of position, and RecoN's going to start taking a huge military lead here.
Yeah, this is such a bittersweet moment for Szalami. He really did what he could with those archers, but at the end of the day, he's up against 60 army. He managed to take a big hit on the eco of RecoN. Like, RecoN's eco right now, especially the food eco, is kind of battered. A lot of idle time in there, but at the end of the day, RecoN is going to be on a second town center, and more importantly, he's going to force to punish Szalami with.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Are we able to take a look and see whether RecoN's picked up his tier 2 military wing upgrade after this battle? Let's focus on this battle for now, because it looks like these lances are going to be beautifully timed from Szalami. He's able to clean up the meta arms. No real response. And yeah, composite bow's not through just yet on the House of Wisdom. That's the main one I'm looking for. The composite bow is really going to be effective here at increasing the damage that comes out from RecoN's archers. All right, beginning to move forward. A distinct lack of spears here. A single spearman out for him on the front side. Noticeably, there are lancers making their way onto the field, and he's got 4 more in queue. Remember that Mangonel is always going to be on the way also. The MIA, he aged up about a minute and a half ago, so expect that Mangonel to be out very soon if it's not already out. There it is. It's just made its way out.
It needs to connect.
To try and chase down these units. Yeah, that's the big thing. Needs to get a really good connection in here.
Not one, but multiple, but look at that choke point. Beautiful first volley. He could get a second one.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to pick it off. Doesn't actually get it. Mangonel not going to be able to cause too much havoc here. And look at this. We've got trade. We've got trade beginning. Szalami going to be going into... Is he going into trade bags, potentially? Could be an option for him.
Yeah, for sure. But right now, everything he has to be invested into defense. And don't forget, folks, you can't build keeps. You can't build stone walls in this one. You can't just drop a keep right now to slow this push down. You're going to have to weather the storm with units, and you just have 1 Mangonel to make up for it. With a Springald already on the field for RecoN, gets a beautiful shot out.
Oh, the Springald unable to take out the Mangonel, but we do see composite bows finally coming through for RecoN. A little bit of a mistake to leave it, but did the Mangonel go down? I think the Mangonel stayed alive right there.
Yeah.
Mangonel still living, and now he's got the counter. Springald's out. He gets the shot off well before it. He's going to be able to take the trade, and he gets the 1-0. It's a beautiful little opening from Szalami the Mangonel moving forward. This could be it from the top rope, Lidakor. From the top rope, I see it right now. The Mangonel, he's looking and he's looming. He's smelling it. Give it to him. Give him the chair. It goes wide.
Yeah, but at least it forces RecoN back, and Szalami lives to see another day, and this is why it's important. He's coming in with the Lancers. He needs to make something happen because his opponent is on 2 TCs. But this is what he was planning to do the whole time. Loop around with the Lancers, and RecoN did not expect this. RecoN thought Szalami is gonna pull everything to defend his base, and now the Lancers loop around, and it's not like RecoN has much at home to defend himself with.
Yeah, there's really not much back here. No palisade walls on this north side. Really going to hurt RecoN as well. He ideally just wants to avoid this. He could have looked to have picked up the relic right there, but not going to be the case. I like the way that he's just stabbing. Yeah, that's... Oh, this is really big. Fortunately, the villagers make it out there. More spears running in. Haven't got their veterancy just yet.
It's still good value for Szalami.
Yeah, really good value for Szalami. Let's head back towards that north side. Yep. What have we got going over there? There we go. Huge mass. Once again, no real way to deal with that enemy Mangonel. That's what's so difficult. Needs to get another Springald out here as soon as possible. Macro starting to fall apart for both of these players. More than 1,000 stacked up food, or rather 1,000 stacked up wood and 1,000 stacked up gold on both sides. So players are definitely scrambling.
Yeah, they do. But right now, Szalami has that rating advantage. If you look at RecoN, he's got a gigantic army. It's twice the size of what Szalami has. But it's not threatening the eco of Szalami, whereas on the other side, these Lancers are making it count, villagers being slain left and right. And look at that, Springald's getting picked off as they are built.
Yeah, this is really, really tough because he's got units that are fighting and versus units that are building, and the Springald gets taken off before any shots can be meaningful. Second Springald's moving out, another one from the top rope. The Mangonel taking out 3 archers on the way and repelling this attack from RecoN, and RecoN all of a sudden, despite having the larger army, has to be forced away from this position. There's no way he can hold it any longer. The siege is just too strong. It's that pressure coming out from the Ottomans.
Exactly. Last 20 seconds, last 30 seconds just was stellar for Szalami. Managed to hit the eco of RecoN pretty hard, and also managed to intercept those Springalds before they were completed. RecoN had 3 Springalds on the way. Szalami had 2 in total, but he picked them off before they were completed. And now, RecoN once again has no response to those Mangonels, and Szalami just keeps creeping up more and more, securing more and more ground. And don't forget, folks, behind this, he's also establishing trade.
Oh, good call. Let's check in on the trade from Szalami. Obviously, playing as the Ottomans, he doesn't have a huge amount of ways to boost it. The primary ways is going to be through trade bags. So we can click in on one of his traders, if he's got any traders. There we go. We'll check in on them. 163 gold. So no trade bags just yet at this point. Once he has trade bags in, that should rocket up to about 200 and 205, 207, somewhere around that.
Yeah, something like that. Now, some of that is going to be offset by RecoN's passive gold generation coming from the relics he has. Also the sacred sites to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, if RecoN isn't able to pressure Szalami over here, that trade is just going to boom away, and RecoN's going to have a tough time making up for it.
He does add in an additional town center, so he's up to a total of 3 town centers now, and that's going to help with him scaling into the late game. And I think ideally, Ottomans versus Abbasid dynasty, you probably want to be the Abbasid dynasty, just because of the camels. Once we're talking about, you know, that post-imperial kind of stuff, which is where a game like this could head if Szalami doesn't take out RecoN right now. You know, there's a real potential that RecoN could somehow make a comeback. So if I'm RecoN, I'm just looking to get out as many Springalds as I possibly can, because at the moment, there's none on the field for him. And he needs them immediately, because there are 3 Mangonels for Szalami. And, well, look, I don't want to threaten RecoN with a good time, but let me tell you right now, 3 Mangonels, that makes me pretty excited.
Yeah, especially because his army is kind of battered over there, a lot of low HP infantry units, and once again, he has no Springballs on the field. He just seems a little slow adding them. Was the same scenario last time, and now he has to do it because his base is under attack. He's got the resources to do so, but he has to do it as we speak. Szalami's got some Springballs here to match that, though, and right now, you struggle to see how RecoN can hold this.
Well, hold on a minute, because we've got a beautiful surround coming through from RecoN from every single angle. He collapses. Villagers from the north, horsemen from the east, archers from the west, and it is just a complete surround with horsemen everywhere, evaporating all the siege. Villagers being brought in to take down the mangonels. One of the most beautiful fights I've ever seen right there happening on our screens. An absolute gut-wrencher for Szalami. In the blink of an eye, he's lost everything. A huge flank from RecoN.
I feel like I just cursed Szalami so badly over there. That was supposed to be a fight for him. There was not a single anti-siege weapon for RecoN, but the surround was beautiful. And really, don't count out those phalanx spearmen. Just having that massive DPS in that cluster fight. And now Szalami's army is just disappeared. It vanished. It's down to just 5 units. Beautiful flank, especially with the horsemen. Manages to pick off the siege. And all of a sudden, there's a massive momentum swing in the favor of RecoN.
RecoN just went from micro 5 out of 10 in my books to micro 10 out of 10. That is legit one of the craziest flanks I've ever seen. I wish there was a first-person view of that, because that was absolute insanity. There must have been close to 47 different control groups he had going right there. It was ludicrous how he did that. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was such a lovely move, and it was... I understand why Szalami committed to this, because he wouldn't have expected such a wonderful maneuver to be pulled on the other side. Now, don't forget, Szalami's got an insane eco behind this, so if he can weather this storm, then once again we could be in for a longer game, but he needs to find a way to stop this aggression towards the trade, because now RecoN knows fully well what's happening.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So he's now sitting on top of the trading post, so no real opportunity to head towards any other position. It's walled off on the other side of the map, which means that a significant portion of this economy is just going to be, well, useless for Szalami. So he's going to have to head back to the drawing board. He's got a whole bunch of siege, but just nothing to really defend it. Wallalor going to be coming in. He swings around the baton. Is that what you'd call it? I don't know if that's what you'd call it. Little wand that he's got.
Oh, he actually dropped.
Where do you go from here?
Ooh. This is where you go. He's trying to replicate the same thing he did before.
Our reaction was identical. Ooh, like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on a minute. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like, he needs to try and take that out, but the numbers here are way too big. Yeah. I don't think he can do it. You're talking about 90 military pop versus 32 military pop, and you can see just how quickly Szalami's getting cleaned up here. RecoN just walking over the top of him. Trade is dead. Mosque is going to be dead soon. And then it's going to be production that comes up next. And sure, he's got knights over on the other side of the map, but what does it even mean? Like, sure, go ahead, kill 20 vills, see if I care. I'm just going to kill you.
Exactly. It's still almost 4 times the army for RecoN. It's a very scary army as well. Phalanx spearmen alongside one of the best castle age archers. A lot of horsemen, crossbows. It's a difficult mix to deal with. Your best tool would be the mangonels, but then again, it's difficult against the Abbasids, especially when RecoN is doing such a good job sniping them. And if you look at the bottom left, it tells you the whole story. Szalami has a great eco, sure, but if you look at the destroyed value, 32,000 resources worth of army destroyed by RecoN, just half of that for Szalami. This is the effectiveness of RecoN in this game, and that is what's propelling him to a massive advantage right now.
Yeah, 100% on the money with that one. And it's kind of wild to see the differences there, and to see that the army value is still so close. They're 3k apart from each other, despite, 15k's difference in destroyed value. So absolutely wild to see those numbers, but trade going to get completely shut down over here, at least for the moment. And all potential expansion towards that north side shut down as well. Take a look what we've got coming in for RecoN.
That's lovely. That could be the final nail in the coffin for Szalami. He was hoping that the trade gets him back into the game, and RecoN is just gonna be like, hold my trade cards, I can do the same thing better than you can. And it's not like Szalami has a decisive force that he can threaten that trade with. Now, he could be in for a good timing push here if he nails that timing as RecoN reaches Imperial, but his army is still a little too feeble to fight this.
Yeah, we can see him slowly pushing out. Military numbers not the best right here. Look at this surround coming in once again. Oh my god, he's doing it again! RecoN, the master of surround sound. This guy's like a Bose surround sound system with a 7.1 directional sound. Look at this guy go in from every single which way. Mangonels, you're a thing of the past. Good night, sweet prince. At least that's what you were gonna be. when those villagers came in. RecoN just cleaning up, just looking incredible, isn't he?
Yeah, he's looking really good out here. Mangonel is still alive here, but with the spread out formation of RecoN is taking a decent-ish engagement, you would think at least. Mangonel is still alive, and the numbers are actually equaling out. Now, Szalami's resource bank is almost empty. RecoN can easily replenish these forces, but this was as good as it gets for Szalami. And the Janissaries made it happen. Those Janissaries sniped down the horsemen as they were charging in. And as you said, repair comes in for the Mangonels. Suddenly, Szalami's numbers are at least there. Problem is that now he's 1 age behind, and his resource bank is also looking rather underwhelming.
Yeah, but there is a window. There is a window right now. The question's going to be whether Szalami climbs through it or not, because RecoN has left it open. To counter all this siege, you are going to need a sizable mass, and RecoN's just thrown away a significant portion of it. We're talking, he was 3 times the amount of units earlier on. Not the case anymore.
Exactly.
Trade.
There's not much to upgrade here for RecoN.
Yeah, I mean, he's going into elite spearmen, which I think makes a lot of sense. Spearmen as a unit are just incredibly cost efficient. So they're so great at fighting against everything, especially elite spears, right? Like you throw them away against archers. They're that good. But we do now also start to see hand cannoneers coming through. So it could be hand cannoneer spearman combo that's coming through, which is a very difficult to deal with one.
And they do have boot camp already. Now, as long as the Mangonels are there, it's not like that's going to be sufficient. So RecoN's going to need some horsemen to snap this down with. If you're Szalami, you're working on spearmen yourself, some Janissaries, some Mangonels. RecoN really should add a couple of Springolds, because if he does that, Szalami has no tools to stop his army. As long as those Mangonels are alive, there's a shot here for Szalami.
Yeah, I'd like to see just a single Culverin. A Culverin would just shut this down completely.
That's true too, I forgot about it.
Yeah, like a Culverin is so strong here. Definitely one of the best units in the game. One of the more pivotal units. Allows you to save on population. That's what's so strong about the Culverin. But we do see him looking to attack down this south side, potentially open up another trade avenue. Could be an option for him. Does manage to take down the wall. Now begins moving through. Maybe the game is not over just yet. We've got to wait for that fat lady to sing.
Yeah, look at the numbers now. It's increasing rapidly for RecoN. That's why losing the army wasn't a big deal for him. He had a massive resource bank, and this flank, this could be the final nail in the coffin for Szalami. Little investment from RecoN in these horsemen, gigantic return value.
Yeah, this is big value. Still only the veterancy on these. He's going to be able to turn his attention towards this town center. Should be able to take it down, but look at the elite spears. There's so many elite spears here, 39 spearmen. These guys should just be able to take the fight themselves. The only thing that can really beat these are men-at-arms with archers in the back. There's a lot here to deal with it. Mangonel's getting off some decent shots onto the front line. Spearman coming through. Beautiful micro from RecoN. He must be clicking all over the place. Big shots from the Mangos. Hitting the back. Still a couple of Mangonels alive. But the Spearman's just going to be more than capable of surrounding and killing absolutely everything. Not even close. Elite army tactics, I think, has also come through now. So these Spearmen are bordering on fully upgraded.
The looming threat of that surround from RecoN just made Szalami pull those Mangonels a little more forward. There were a couple of villagers coming from behind. Szalami was scared that they will snipe the Mangonels. He pulled them a little more forward, but that just got them closer to the Spearmen. Even then, though, it doesn't really matter because the numbers and technology advantage of RecoN is now prevailing. And you look at Szalami's population, 110. RecoN is at 180 out of 180. He could be pop-capped if it wasn't for the houses. He's got trades set up, and decisively, he's got a 4-to-1 army advantage. You struggle to see how Szalami can turn this around.
Yeah, this looks almost certainly like game at this point. The elite spears are what are so difficult to deal with, and we do see a single Culverin now coming out from RecoN, but yeah, there's no real way to deal with elite spearmen. This is the interesting thing about the unit. It's like it kind of just breaks even with everything. Even archers it will break even with, just because it's got all these extra bonuses in Imperial Age, like elite army tactics, so it's a lot tankier. And you're going to overkill a lot with archers. So it's just such an effective unit to mass up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a spearman nerf come through on the next patch, because players just are trending towards massing them up, and they're quite effective.
They are, especially these Abbasid spears. Now Szalami making the final last stand over here, but he's just getting overwhelmed. He's gonna have his gold mine denied, and likely he's just busy typing GG at this point, because he's got no hope of stopping this. Little chance to get to Imperial, and RecoN takes over the map, and with that, the game.
Well, the first game goes over to RecoN. Well played by him. It was, I would say, flawless. I think he lost a unit in that that engagement where he did the beautiful surround, so maybe not flawless. No, I'm just kidding. It was a pretty damn good game. But I tell you what, that was the longest game of the evening. That was an action-packed game, wasn't it?
It was. It was very much a back-and-forth game as well. For quite a while, it seemed like Szalami is going to turn this around. He started to gain map control. He massacred a bunch of villagers from the other side, had a really good trade setup, but then you look at the military graph and it tells you the story. Szalami struggled to match the numbers put on the field by RecoN. Quite frankly, he managed to equal things out just when RecoN reached Imperial, and part of the reason why he probably felt confident at that point was this. But then RecoN just had a much larger resource bank, and in the end, that sustainability element was just much more in the favor of RecoN.